Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, I think today we can finish conjunctions. They're actually not just conjunctions, right? Today we have some discourse makers. Some things that will help you writing. It will help you a lot, I think, on your writings. You see? Very useful stuff. Useful stuff. Useful stuff. Not full stop. So discourse markers. This is B2 grammar, okay? But you can do it. Discourse markers, okay. So these are some expressions, you see, you'll use for making your points, for introducing sentences, you will see. Okay? So now we know for sure we can even save this image, copy image, we can even put it here. Ah, nice. Oh, some problem. I think now it worked. Okay. So, we have these discourse markers. Here we have 19. They are important to structure your text, you see? To connect sentences in a meaningful, what is meaningful? Full of meaning. Ah, easy, no? And logical way. What is logical? Full of logic. Okay. So they express what? The things we have already been talking about. Contrast, reason why something happened, purpose for what you did something, and the result, what is the outcome. Right? So you can find some discourse makers, okay. By the way, incidentally, some of these you may know, of course, but let's see them in detail. By the way. By the way, you know this?
By the way, we want to express other reason.
By the way, you change the subject, the topic of conversation. Not the subject here, be careful. Once I told, I think it was da mañana, no da mañana? I said, when it changed the subject, what I meant was topic, the topic of conversation, but he felt in his mind, okay, the subject of the sentence. He was thinking about the grammar. Used to change the subject doesn't mean here the grammatical subject. It just means the topic of conversation. So we are talking about, I don't know, we're talking about what? Abhidhamma. And then we're discussing about Abhidhamma and so on. And then at some point, I want to change the topic. And then I can say, by the way, do you know what's going on in Colombo? You know, like, just a different topic. You understand? Okay, it doesn't have to be connected to what was being said. So you're really like cutting the conversation and going somewhere else. Okay? By the way. It doesn't mean way, don't think about way like path or nothing like that. Huh? No, not however. No, not however. You're not showing a contrast. However is a contrast with regard to what was said before. Here you're just changing topic. Okay? Look, well, it has been a very productive meeting, okay? We've been discussing, okay? Don't you think? By the way, what time is it? It's not connected to what was previously said or anything. You're just like kind of like stopping one subject and starting another subject of conversation. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah, incidentally, this one I don't see as often. I'm not so used to this one. Incidentally. I'll try to fix my car this afternoon. Okay? This is like one topic. By the way, Do you still have that screwdriver that I lent you? This one is slightly connected, you see? I have to fix my car, so then I remember I need a tool. And then, by the way, do you have that tool? Do you understand? Screwdriver, yeah, screwdriver. Huh? Incidentally is not common. I don't see it much.
But still can use.
Yeah. Still can use. I see by the way is often used. By the way. Okay? So do you understand it? You can use it to talk about something else completely, or something maybe still related to that subject, but that just popped in your mind. Okay? So you see here, for example, it has been a productive meeting, don't you think? By the way, what time is it? Okay?
I think they said during the meeting, right?
Yeah, during the meeting. Okay, you have finished the meeting talking about something, your business. And then, by the way, what are you having for lunch? Yeah. Huh? Anyways. Yeah, anyways is like this. You're talking about A, and then slowly the conversation goes to B. And then anyways, you go back to A. Yeah, it's like stop going the direction it was going, come back. Yes. Anyway, yes. You can conclude the conversation. Okay? So you have here incidentally or by the way. By the way, I think it's much more common, at least to me, yes. Okay? So something that doesn't have to be connected, but it can also be kind of connected. Something that you have just thought about, just occurred to you. Okay? By the way. Now, let's see this one. Actually, have you heard this? Actually,
Very famous in Laos.
very famous in Laos?
Like a very common.
In fact, you can also say that. As a matter of fact, we hear these a lot. These are used a lot. These are used to introduce something, some new information that is a bit surprising or unexpected. Unexpected, okay? Something a little surprising, something new. Okay? For example, I don't like chicken. Actually, I have only ever eaten chicken once. Okay? He's saying he doesn't like chicken, but he has only tried it once. Okay? So it's like something new you didn't expect. In fact, it's like a new information, a little surprising information about that. Okay? So everybody thinks, for example, he has a terrible temper. You know terrible temper? He gets angry easily, or his mood changes. Temper is usually related to anger. People who get angry easily. So he has a temper. Okay? Temper. So everybody thinks we don't know who he is, just someone. Everybody thinks he has a terrible temper. But actually, he is very kind. You see? Or you could also use in fact. In fact means it's something true, some new truth, surprising truth. Okay? In this case, it's used after the conjunction, you see? But. But actually, you see, you can use it. Actually, or in fact, he is very kind. Or everybody thinks he has a terrible temper, but as a matter of fact, he is very kind. Okay? So when you need to write a long text, you can use as a matter of fact a lot. It's a lot of words, extra words. Okay? Do you understand more or less? Of course, you won't remember all of this, but just try to get the point, understand it, and then you have to see it in the texts. Now that we're studying these conjunctions, some adverbs as well, you start seeing them in the texts, right? You see in our IIT book a lot. Owing to, because of due to. Bhante Magavihari uses a lot. Due to, right? Huh? Owing to, yeah, things like that. Furthermore, moreover, right? So now you'll see these things, okay? Anyway, you see? Anyway, used to return to an earlier subject. That's what I said, right? After a digression. So you were talking about A, then slowly the conversation digresses to something else. It goes on a tangent to some other topic, and then you want to go back, you know? Anyways, so we were talking about this, right? Okay? Or you can use it to get to the most interesting point. Okay, let's see. It's not so strange to lose documents. It happens to lots of people all the time. Okay. Anyway, we finally found the passports in, you see? You're going back to something else. You see? You were talking about the passports. Why? Do you understand what happened here? Here, we are coming back to something. We finally found the passports in, so the passports were lost. Okay? So these documents had been lost, right? And then the conversation was about that. Documents were lost. And then you started talking, okay, it's not strange, many people lose documents, blah, 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 right? Okay, anyways, we found the documents. Okay, you see, you're going back to the main point. Do you understand? You're going back to the main point. Used to give a more important reason. Okay, let's see. I'm too tired to go. It's too late. And anyway, it's too expensive. So this anyway over here, it's just introducing the most important fact, the most important reason not to go. I'm too tired. That's one reason. It's too late. But the most important reason is it's too expensive. So anyway is like, you understand? Introduces that most important thing. Okay? So in any case, also would work in the same way. Let's see. It's not so strange to lose documents. It happens to lots of people all the time. In any case, we finally found the passports in this place or that place. You understand? In any case, you go back to what you were talking about. In any case, yeah, it doesn't matter so much. Okay, we go back. Okay? Yeah, used in the same way, you see? Don't think too much about the word itself. Like, sometimes it makes sense to me. Like, in any case, imagine you're talking about some problem, and then you start discussing maybe it can be like this, maybe it can be like that, different cases. Then it would make literal sense to say, in any case, we should do this, right? But it's used not just because you're talking about cases, okay? So don't take it too literally, okay? It's just an expression. In any case, we go back, okay? As I was saying, this is a good one. This one also, to return to an earlier subject. Sometimes you're talking to someone, right? And then that person starts going off on a different direction, right? Sometimes that happens, no? So then you can use these weapons. As I was saying, and you go back to the point, okay? So after you were interrupted, you can use it. For example, we are discussing about conjunctions. Bhante Magavihari comes, we discuss about some other problem. And then I can resume the lesson saying, so as we were saying, or as I was saying, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of go back to what we were talking about. You see? As I was saying, we could get up early and spend the whole day there. You see, it's like just to restart the conversation. As I was saying, after an interruption or a digression. So it kind of goes back. No. It's just to kind of go back to that line of thinking or to that conversation. As I was saying, and you go back to what you were doing, to what you were talking about. Yeah, it kind of refers to your thought, your previous idea, right?
This different from the first one anyway. In any case.
Anyway also kind of returns to an earlier subject, you see? Or to get to the most interesting point. This is a little different. Here you can also return to an earlier subject, but not to introduce the most important, what was it? Reason, right? Here, more important reason. Then you can use anyway or in any case, but you cannot use as I was saying. Okay? They are used sometimes in the same way, sometimes in a different way. Okay? So as I was saying, you kind of go back to the topic, go back to what you were thinking about, what you were talking about. After all, okay, this also introduces an additional point, some extra information that supports or explains what you have just said. So it's kind of like a reason or an explanation. I might understand her better than you. After all, she's my wife. Do you understand? You see? It's adding an additional point, an additional information that supports. You see? The fact that she's my wife supports, makes the previous statement stronger. I might understand her better, right? Why? Because she's my wife, right? So I might understand her better than you. After all, she's my wife. Okay? So you're adding that additional point. Don't be too hard on him. After all, he's just a kid. You see? Don't be too hard on him. For example, maybe the English teacher is very hard on him. And then another student asks, please don't be too hard on them. After all, they're trying their best. Right? Okay? Huh? After all. You're just kids? Used to say something that is true despite, okay, you have learned this word already, despite what is believed or said. So this shows an opposition, right? Despite. He is not such a bad professional after all. What does this after all show? It says something is true, okay, he is not such a bad professional. Because it sounds like they thought he was a bad professional. You understand? But after they look in more detail, he's not a bad professional after all. You understand? Something is true, he is not a bad professional, despite what is believed. So this means that people believed he was not a good professional, or that he was a bad professional, for example. Do you understand? Do you understand? Let me try to come up with another example. We just have one sentence here. For example, I tell you that in Madrid right now it's very cold. The weather is very cold, okay? And then everyone believes that it is very cold, okay? And then we all go to Madrid. And then when you reach there, you find that it's not so cold. It's not that cold. Do you understand? So you can say, it's not so cold after all. After all. It shows that you believed it was cold. You understand? Something like that. At least. This is used to introduce a positive information when talking about something negative. Let's see. Lots of people got injured in the accident. You see, this is something negative, right? They got injured. But at least nobody died. You're introducing something positive. Do you understand? At least nobody died. Do you understand?
Yes.
But at least, you see, after the conjunction, but at least nobody died. It's something positive.
Yes.
Okay. I finished last in the race. Oh, it's something negative, right? I finished last. But at least I finished.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right? At least I finished. Huh?
It's true.
Yeah. This is us at the end of IIT, maybe?
At least, yeah, we finished.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. At the end of the exams, at least I finished.
It is very hard.
Yeah. Okay. We can also use at least to reduce the effect of something we have said before, you see? Or to make something less certain. Less certain. Understand? Less certain? Not 100%. Sure. Not sure.
Not sure.
Okay? Let's see. He knows the president. Or at least that's what he says. So you said something, okay? He knows the president. Okay? And then you want to add something that will make what you said a little less definite, a little less sure. Because maybe you're not so sure about that information. Do you understand? So it reduces the effect of something you have said. You said a statement. He knows the president. Okay? Sounds like 100% sure, right? But then you want to say, okay, maybe it's not 100% so sure. So then you can say, okay, at least that's what he told me. Okay? So he told me is 100% sure, but we don't know if it's 100% true, right? So he knows the president, or at least that's what he says. Okay?
Negative give evidence of him.
Yes. Do you understand? Sometimes you said something, but you have a little bit of doubt about what you said, right? So then you can say, okay, at least this is what this book says. Okay? Okay. So this is at least. Okay? Something positive when talking about something negative, and to reduce the effect of something previously said. Okay. All in all, I'm not very familiar with this one. All in all. Let me see. Taking into consideration all the parts of a situation. Okay. There were some mistakes, but all in all, you did a pretty good job. Okay, I understand. You see? Taking into consideration all the parts of a situation. So, for example, there were some mistakes. So, if you don't focus only on the mistakes, but you focus on everything, so all in all, it was good. Yes.
Big picture.
Overall. You can say overall. I would say overall. Yes. Overall is like in general. Overall. There were some mistakes, but all in all, you did a pretty good job. It's like the average was good. Okay? Both TVs are great, but all in all, I think this one is better for you. You see? Both are good, but then if you consider everything, all the information you have, I think this one is better. You can also say like that. But all in all, you see there is a comma over here. But all in all, comma, and then the clause. You did a pretty good job. All in all, comma, I think this one is better for you. See? Okay? Pay attention as well to the commas, to the punctuation. Sometimes it's very important. Sometimes it's not so important, but sometimes it's very important. Okay? Okay, on the whole. This is a huge lesson, I think, no? On the whole. This means generally, on the whole, right? Whole is the entire thing, right? It's not a part. It's the whole, the entire thing. So it means what it means, generally, in a general way. So, for example, on the whole, comma, men tend to avoid talking about feelings. On the whole. Maybe a specific individual is not like that, as much.
Yeah.
Maybe this man is not like that as much. But on the whole, do you understand? In general, or you could say generally, okay? In general, men have this tendency, for example. Okay? So on the whole. There has been some criticism, but on the whole, customers like what we offer. I feel like here it could also be all in all a little bit, right? Could kind of, but all in all, customers like what we offer. It sounds like it could be go over there as well. Okay, besides, this is nice, this is very common. Also adds an additional information and it's informal. Okay, I think it's a beautiful place. This is one information. Besides, it's very cheap. You're adding something new. Okay? Besides, it's a plus. Some added information. It's very cheap. You could say, and it's very cheap. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Okay. But besides, you can use besides. Besides, you know, it's kind of together with that, right? Besides. You know? This is how we normally use this word, right? Besides. If we say something is besides something else, it's on the side like this, right? Yes. Yeah. So besides also feels like that a bit, right? So you add some extra info about that. Furthermore, this I think you'll see in IIT books, right? Yes. Furthermore, also adds additional information, often more important. And it's formal. This one is informal. Besides, furthermore is more formal, you see? And you can see it's used over here, you see? In the beginning of a sentence with a comma. Okay? So for example, electric cars are becoming more powerful and energy efficient. Period. Sentence is finished. Furthermore, comma, they are much cheaper than a few years ago.
Sound like Voldemort.
Huh? Moreover, huh?
Sound like Voldemort.
Furthermore. Okay, you're adding some additional information and it's something even more important. Okay? Often, not necessarily more important, but often more important. Okay? Furthermore. Okay, what's more? It adds something interesting to what we have just said. You see, these are all just ways of adding information. You see? Besides, furthermore, what's more? It's similar to furthermore, but more informal. Okay, what's more? You can use this, okay? So a little bit similar to furthermore, but more informal. Scientists have found a big body of water. You know a body of water, right? A body of water. Don't think body, arms, legs. Don't think like that. A body of water could be maybe a big lake. Just a body of water, okay? A body of water under the planet's surface. Period. What's more, they think it's not the only body of water they will find. Okay? You're adding some extra information. You see? Something interesting. Okay? So what's more, and then comma, and you add the new information. Okay? He said that the new season will premiere this September. And what's more, in the same sentence, you see, you can use it. And what's more, comma, he confirmed that it will not be the last. Oh, this is like a more interesting information. You see? He said that the new season will premiere this September. Okay. You know season?
Yes.
You know premiere? Premiere is premiere is like when, for example, a movie or a TV series or something, it's when they first start playing it. It's the premiere. It's like the first time they will play it to the public. Premiere. Yeah, it's like the first night. You understand? Premiere. So here it's used as a verb. Will premiere this September. Okay? This means that, for example, the new movie or the new season of this show will start this September. And then you add some more interesting information. And what's more, he confirmed that it will not be the last. There will be other seasons, for example. Okay? So you're adding information. Obviously. You know obvious, right? Something is obvious, that adjective. So you can use obviously. Introduces a fact that is easy to see or understand. Okay? Something obvious. Obviously. Okay. So obviously, without qualifications, it's harder to get a good job. It's obvious, right? Yeah, it's obvious. Something evident. So you can introduce that obvious fact with this. Obviously, this adverb. Obviously. Basically, we also use this a lot. Introduces the most important point or characteristic. What is the basic? The base. It's like the foundation, the most important things, right? So basically, when you say basically, you're trying to simplify something to the most important point. Okay? Basically. So let's say the teacher teaches for a long time, and then a student was not in class. Then he will ask me, so what did he teach? And I'll say, basically he just said this and this. And I'll summarize it in simple words. Basically. Basically, what we do here is produce the plastic parts of the phone. You see, it's probably a complicated process, producing the parts of the phone. But basically, that's what we do. We make the parts of the phone. Okay? So use this. Basically, also with a comma, you see. In other words, you are rephrasing it. Rephrasing. Phrasing it again. Saying the same in other words. Okay? For example, she said we should take a break and have time to ourselves. In other words, she dumped me. She dumped me means they were in a relationship and she broke up with him. She dumped me. This is what it means. Okay? Do you understand?
Don't dump me.
So, but instead of saying directly she dumped me, okay, first she said we should take a break and have time to ourselves. What it means is she dumped me. Do you understand? Okay, so you are simplifying or saying the same in other words, okay? Okay. That is to say, this is also important. This explains something a bit more precisely. Something you have already said, you see? It's similar to in other words. So, in other words, for example, the best thing about music is its repeatability. Repeat, you know repeat?
Yeah.
To repeat, right?
Yes.
So repeatability is like the fact that it can be repeated many times. Okay? It's repeatability. Not a common word, repeatability. Repeatability. That is to say, now you'll kind of explain it. What is repeatability? You'll explain it. That is to say, you can listen to the same songs again and again and never get bored. This is the repeatability of music. You can listen to it so many times and it's still good. Huh? There is a limit to that, right? But yeah, music has to some extent this quality, right? Best thing about music is the repeatability. And then maybe repeatability is not a clear word, right? People may not understand clearly what you mean. So you can say like this. That is to say, so you kind of explain it. You can listen to the same songs again and again and never get bored. you understand? That is to say, and you kind of explain it. Okay? Here, it's used with a semicolon, you see? Otherwise. Otherwise. I used it recently, right? Somebody asked me. I think it was Gambirapan. Used after an order or suggestion to say what will happen if that order or suggestion is not followed. After an order or suggestion. For example, this is imperative. You see, no subject. Be here at 8 o'clock. You should not put a subject. You be here. Sometimes we do say that actually, but you should be here. Yeah, you can say that. But if you just want to give an order or a suggestion, you just use imperative. Be here at 8.
Can put should be here.
No.
Cannot.
Should be. No. I think you talk like that, right? Yeah. No. Then you need a subject. You should be here. We should be here. Something like that. But imperative is just be here. Come. Get up. Think. Write. Etc. No?
Come here.
Come. This is imperative, yes. Please come. Please write. We use it very often, no? So, be here at 8 o'clock. This is like an order, right? An order. Otherwise, now I'll say what will happen if you don't do this. You will miss your turn. You see? So, study well. Otherwise, you'll fail your exams. For example, right? Yeah. Come to the English class, otherwise I'll be sad. Okay?
It's the fact.
What we use be like was more like
Be happy, yes, okay. Be is like an order. This is the imperative. Imperative mood is like panchami in Pali. Yeah. So in English you can use it without the subject, you see? Be here at 8. Come. Right? I don't know. Don't be angry. Yeah. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Don't be sure. Okay. Regarding, as regards, as far as is concerned. Okay, we have 4 over here. This means like about. Used to introduce a topic of conversation. Okay. We actually use this quite often, I think. I just said actually, you see? Yeah, you will start seeing things, you see? When you start learning, you start seeing things that you didn't see before, right? Yes. And then they are everywhere. Wow. Suddenly your eyes are opened. Okay. So this means like about. So regarding the new player, comma, we'll have to decide if or when to sell him. So regarding the new player, what am I doing over here? I'm introducing a new topic of conversation. You see? We have to discuss about the new player. So regarding the new player, and then we'll have to do this or that. You understand? And then you give your point. So regarding this, we should do that. Regarding that, you should do that. Okay? It's to say like about what. You see? You could also say as regards the new player. A little less common, I think, but you can also say it like this. As regards, then it's with an S, you see? As regards the new player, this basically means, you see? This basically means like talking about the new player, we should do this. You understand? Something like that. As far as the new player is concerned, you can also use this. This is a long version, good for texts. As far as the new player is concerned, this long introduction to the sentence just means like that. You want to talk about that subject. Okay? As far as the new player is concerned, you're talking about the new player. Okay? Maybe there are different topics, right? That you are talking about. So as far as this is concerned, blah, 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 blah. Okay?
As far as the new player is concerned, then we can connect with the.
And then you continue here. We'll have to decide if or when to sell him. Yes, yes, yes.
With comma, right? Concern.
Yes, comma.
And then we will have to.
And then you can add your clause, your independent clause, you see? Okay? On the other hand, I say this sometimes, right? On the other hand, sorry, go up.
This is look like present.
Is concerned, like a passive, no?
Like a passive.
Yes, 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 yes.
Is it passive? Passive.
As far as the new player is concerned.
And then we can we use the in past in the as far as the new player was concerned. It's like that. Can we conjugate?
I think it's strange.
Yeah, we say
As far as the new player is concerned. As far as the new player was
some
concerned.
story or something can be used like that. In that situation, as far as the new player was concerned.
As far as the new, maybe if you're reporting speech, let me think. He said that as far as the new player was concerned, maybe it's okay. Looks okay. I think so. But I normally see it like this. Yeah. But for example, if you're doing reported speech, which we have already discussed, but I think you all forgot reported speech completely. You use always direct speech, right? Like in Pali. Anyways. Yeah.
Want to come back to this?
So I think it's possible.
And then we can change in the plural, right?
As far as they are concerned, yes. On the other hand, this is to introduce a contrasting fact, okay, of course, right? You have on the one hand, sometimes you may hear, on the one hand, on the other hand. To contrasting things, okay? So they should be a little like contrasting, a bit opposing each other, okay? For example, cycling, you know, cycling is good for your health, and it's a sport that is gentle with your muscles and joints. Is gentle here means you have no impact, okay? You're just using the pedals. Cycling with the pedals, there isn't much impact. So it's kind of gentle with your muscles and joints. Okay, so this is like a good thing. On the other hand, there's something bad is coming. There are many fatal accidents among cyclists. Yes, it's very dangerous. Yeah, because you go on the road most of the time with the cars. And then the cars are not like being nice with you, you know, they just go, you know, like, understand? So it's quite dangerous.
But they are another line.
Not everywhere, right? Yeah. So you could fall down sometimes easily if you go on tracks, track bikes. Yeah, you could fall. I fell already several times, I think. And but if you go on a road, then the problem is cars. Another thing is that bikes have no protection at all, and you can go pretty fast. with a bike. Especially on a good road, you can go super fast. 60, maybe 60, yes. So if you fall down, yeah. Yeah. Okay, it can be preceded by on the one hand. This is what I just told you, right? On the one hand, on the other hand. So if you hear a person say on the one hand, you know he's going to say on the other hand later, okay? On the one hand, cycling blah 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 is good. On the other hand, it's dangerous. Okay? Whereas, we have seen this already, right? We use whereas to compare and contrast two things or ideas. It means while when it is used to express contrast. Okay, the north is cold, whereas the south is very hot. You see? Look, no commas. No comma after whereas. Whereas people used to aspire to have a big house, kids, pets, etc., nowadays, preferences tend more towards apartments. Yeah, right? You could start with this clause, you see, and then go to the second clause. Or you can start with the second clause and then come to the first clause, see? So it shows a contrast to different things. Contrasting, you see, north is cold, whereas the south is hot. Sometimes you can use while instead of whereas. While is more common. While. Ah, finished. Okay, I saw this little bar over here, and it was like still halfway, so I thought it was huge. No, but it's just advertisement. Okay. So this was, I think, enough, right? Enough, no? Maybe next day we do the last lesson. Okay? So these were, you see, not just conjunction, but discourse markers. Okay? Let's review them quickly. By the way, incidentally, actually, in fact, surprisingly. Anyway, in any case, returning to the main point, right? As I was saying, also to continue from where you left off, after all, you show an important reason, right? Despite what is believed, after all, he's not a bad player after all, right? You thought he was bad, and then you see him, he's not so bad at all. No, after all, not at all. At all is different. At all is something else. At least means like fortunately, right? There was a huge accident, but at least no one died. All in all, considering everything, right? There were a few mistakes, but all in all, it was a good job. On the whole, also in general. Besides, you add something informally, right? The restaurant is close by, and besides, it's cheap. You can add this information. Besides, furthermore, this is a formal one. Formal, usually to add something, some new information, extra information, often more important, right? What's more is also, additionally, you could also say, you see, moreover, you could also say, here you see, obviously, you introduce something obvious, obviously. You obviously introduce something obvious. Basically, you introduce something basic. Okay? So you're simplifying something. So, okay, I think you understand, right? In other words, to put it simply, you could also use this as an expression here, to put it simply, right? Music has that quality of repeatability, but to put it simply, you can listen to it many times without getting bored, right? So it has this. That is to say, this also means like in other words, you could also use, in other words, you will say the same, but in other words, usually in a more simple way, with more simple words. Okay? Otherwise, if you don't do that, right, you will have this problem. So do that, otherwise, I'll be sad, right? Regarding, as regards, as far as is concerned, means like about. So regarding our next test, you should do this and that, okay? For example, regarding the vocabulary, you should study 15 words a day, something like that. Regarding this, regarding that, okay? Or, huh? Regardless is, we don't think about that fact. Yes. No, it means, for example, somebody doesn't want me to do something, but regardless of what he thinks, I will do it. You know, I will not pay attention to that. Huh? Without acknowledging, like regardless. This means it doesn't matter. Regardless. It doesn't matter. Okay? And on the other hand, so you have on the one hand, on the other hand, right? Contrasting things. You can also use this in contrast, comma, and you say what's in contrast. Conversely, this is a little more fancy, conversely. Okay, whereas means like while, also like in contrast. In the north, it's very cold, whereas in the south, it's very hot. Okay, so you use these to enrich your writings and make me happy.
What is this topic?
These are like under conjunctions, but they are not like just conjunctions, but they are words that help connect things, sentences, ideas. Discourse markers. Markers. Discourse markers. Yeah, it just a general term for all of these words. They are not just conjunctions. They are, some of them are, I don't know, some of them are like adverbs, for example. So they're just putting all these words with different functions under this umbrella term of discourse markers, connectors, okay? So now, work. Now I think I suggest you do these exercises about this lesson. Okay? So my computer is not working, but I hope your devices are. Okay? So enough. Finished.